By now you've probably seen the Xbox One reveal event, or at the very least caught the highlights on your favourite Xbox website, OutsideXbox.com, but there's quite a lot of information sloshing around that you might not have spotted in the presentation. So here for your viewing pleasure are 7 things the Xbox One can do that you might have missed. There was a lot of nebulous chat about the cloud in the presentation, but one thing stood out, to me at least. By shifting processing to the cloud, Xbox One can technically be upgraded from afar. Forget plugging in a 64MB N64 expansion pack, all Microsoft has to do is add more online servers to do the processing and your games will get better. As a quick practical example, an Assassin's Creed game could shift some of its crowd AI processing to Microsoft servers, allowing for busier city streets. Combine that with the traditional curve of developers getting more out of the console as the life cycle goes on, as we've seen with the Xbox 360, and games from the end of the generation could look radically different from those at the beginning. Something that would be traditionally confined to a physics lab, the Xbox One's Kinect can actually trace photons as they bounce off you in your living room. What this means is that because it knows what the speed of light is, it can detect distances and movement with enormous accuracy and with minimal lag. We're talking calculations in nanoseconds, that's a billionth of a second. That, combined with USB 3 technology and extra processing power inside the box, means that Kinect is 66 milliseconds more responsive than the Xbox 360 version. Not quite as precise as a controller, but not far off. Oh, and you can play it in a pitch black room if you like. One thing that was slightly glossed over in the presentation is that the Xbox One runs 3 operating systems, one of which is Windows, like your PC. While it'll no doubt be a heavily modified version of Windows, the fact that the Xbox One is built on PC architecture makes it likely that a substantial proportion of apps from the Windows App Store will make it over to Xbox One, making that snap to function all the more useful. It'll certainly make a mockery of the Xbox 360's incomplete grab bag of video apps. We haven't got one yet. And you thought cloud saves were handy. On Xbox One, your entire profile is kept online and Kinect can log you in just by looking at your face, even if you're at your mate's house. All your saved files will be there so you can pick up where you left off, or if you started watching a film at your house, you can finish it at theirs. And for multiplayer, it can now track up to 6 separate people, each with their own profiles, presumably. And in a neat touch for local multiplayer, it now splits the screen intelligently based on where you're sitting. Because Kinect now has a much clearer, 3-dimensional view of your face, it can do what Peter Molyneux was promising in 2009, read your expression. It can tell not only if you're happy or grumpy, but also whether you're actively engaged in what's going on, i.e. looking at the screen. What that means is if you turn to your friend and say the word Xbox, the console isn't going to automatically assume you're talking to it. It can tell more than just the mood from your face though. In a faintly creepy turn, Kinect can estimate your heart rate based on tiny imperceptible changes in your face that it detects. Obviously this has benefits for exercise games, but imagine how you could be manipulated by a horror game using this technology. While we're talking about precision, Kinect can now detect the tip of your hand and your thumb for pinching and grabbing, something that anyone who's flailed their way through Steel Battalion on the original Kinect can attest is a pretty handy feature. If you haven't heard of 4K yet, it's the next step on from Full HD in terms of screen resolution. Don't worry if you've just bought a TV though, most games on Xbox One will run at 1080p rather than 4K, not least because 4K only makes sense on really enormous screens. The graphics hardware inside the box is very much designed for normal HD televisions, but the fact that Xbox One can output 4K leaves the door open for 4K games in the future, just in case the technology takes off. While they'd be unlikely to feature 3D graphics, just think of Rayman Origins as beautiful 2D visuals. Imagine that so crisp it looks like a moving work of art. Okay, this is technically optional, but like most social networks, you can now choose to be identified by your own name, just in case you can't think of what combination of numbers to put after Elite Snipes in your gamer tag. It's limited to just your friends, so you won't have strangers googling pictures of you drunk at that Christmas party. Still, when we talk about friends, we're talking on a much larger scale than on Xbox 360. Microsoft has finally overhauled the friend system, and according to reports, you can have up to 1,000 of them, which should be enough for anyone unless you're Justin Bieber. Oh, if you are Justin Bieber, hi Justin Bieber. So that's 7 things you might have missed from the Xbox One reveal. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe for more Xbox One coverage on Outside Xbox, and we'll see you next time.